Yo, what up, sports fans? Welcome to SportsTube, FantasyTube edition, where if you like me, you absolutely love fantasy football and you happy as hell that fantasy season is here. So in this edition, I'm going to break down a completely great draft strategy for y'all to win y'all fantasy league. Man, we're going to all position groups and I'll kind of show y'all how I did on my team. We'll go through my team and what I did. So y'all keep it locked right here. What up, guys? Man, so look, if y'all like me, y'all love this shit, man. I'm gonna show y'all how to win y'all fantasy league this shit, man. I know a lot of these mock drafts on ESPN, NFL, or whatever, you kind of get an unrealistic feel in those mock drafts. People do silly shit like draft Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow in the first round and then it fucks up the whole draft for everybody. So we're not gonna do that here. Plus, a lot of times when you're drafting with your buddies or your coworkers and stuff like that, they kind of go after players that they fond of, that they like. So in the mock drafts, you get people that auto draft and it really kind of follows the board. So I really want to give y'all a realistic look at how my draft went, because I did my draft this past weekend, and what to realistically look for. So let's get right into it. We're going to take a look at my team that I ended up with. And I kind of tell y'all how each position fell and where they were drafted and kind of what to look for in certain rounds. So, as y'all can see, I went with Cam Newton as my quarterback, Le'Veon Bell as my running back, who obviously I took in the first round. I had the #2 overall pick, David Johnson with #1, by the way. I got the rookie Dalvin Cook, got the boy Doug Baldwin, Terrell Pryor, Jack Doyle as my tight end, the boy Ty Montgomery, Chargers defense, real Lutz. I got a pretty stacked bench, in my opinion. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Got the boy Emmanuel Sanders, Terrell Williams, Kareem Hunt, rookie out of Kansas City, Dante Moncrief, James White, Super Bowl winner James White, Chris Davis, the rookie out of the Titans, and Thomas Rawls. So, look, let's just go ahead and start at the top position with the quarterback. I went with Cam Newton. Cam had a down season last year compared to his MVP season that he had when he went to the Super Bowl. But obviously, I'm taking that risk that he can get back to that quarterback that he was, or at least close, man. That was just an unbelievable, incredible season. If he can have just like 3/4 of that kind of season, I'll be happy with that. He was putting up 40 points a game damn near. So the reason I like Cam Newton is because, yeah, he's a very gifted passer, man. He got the arm strength, he got the long balls, but also, obviously, his running ability. When he's down there at the goal line, man, why hand it off to the running back where you can run the shit in yourself? He's a huge guy that has a lot of those red zone capabilities to get it in himself. Now, I know they're saying they kind of want to switch that up for him. They went out and drafted Christian McCaffrey this year for the Panthers, so he may not get some of those red zone looks that he was getting in the past in the MVP season. But I don't know. His physical stature is still that to where I think he'll still get a lot of those looks. So, Cam Newton as my QB. Now, the one thing that I will tell y'all when it comes to drafting quarterbacks, I only started with that position because we just go on position by position. Do not draft a quarterback too early. I don't know if y'all have heard this before, but man, I had a buddy of mine who drafted Tom Brady in the first round. Do not do this. Wait on a quarterback, man. Quarterbacks are there. They're very abundant. You know, they put up a lot of points. You know, even your middle of the row, mediocre guys, they put up good numbers. Somebody that I would target, and I don't know why people are sleeping on him, Matthew Stafford. Man, I still wanted to get Matt Stafford, even though I drafted Cam Newton. I drafted Cam Newton, I think, in the 6th or 7th round. And, you know, right after that, someone snagged Stafford. I was going to go after him. You know, in mock drafts, he's going like in the 9th or 10th round, which is absurd, man. This guy's about to put up some really good numbers. So I would wait I wouldn't draft a quarterback, and this is me personally, I wouldn't draft a quarterback till at least the 5th round. You still could get somebody like Drew Brees, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, these type of guys. Obviously, like your Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady's, they may be going around the 3rd round or so, but just don't go after QBs too early. Let's go into the running back group here. Like I say, I drafted Le'Veon Bell. I didn't really care. When I saw that I had the number 2 pick, I knew that I was going to either end up with Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson with Arizona. To be honest, I really wanted David Johnson because, man, the boy is a beast. Le'Veon Bell, he got his issues going on right now. He's not even in training camp. He wants his money. He want to get paid. And it's because he's really good. But, I don't know. All in all, it's kind of being nitpicky. He's still going to get his numbers. He's still, I think, the best running back in the league. But it's just that knuckleheadedness about him, man. You don't hear anything about David Johnson, so you expect David Johnson to be on the field no matter what. Plus, Le'Veon Bell, I don't think he's finished an entire season since he's been in the league. So he's kind of injury prone. So I would have wanted to get David Johnson. So if you have the number 1 pick in your league and you're kind of on the fence about Bell or David Johnson, I would suggest you go Johnson. Now, with that being said, if you do have like that number 1, number 2 pick, I'll absolutely suggest going with either one of those guys. Go get you that stud running back. But if you don't, now before Ezekiel Elliott's suspension, I would have said if you got the number 3 pick, take Zeke, no brainer. But since he's suspended, I would say start looking into the wide receivers. Obviously, you want to go Antonio Brown. I think he's the best, hands down. If you can't get him, you can get Odell Beckham Jr., who I know he got injured, saying that it could have been worse. And it was saying, oh, no, he's fine. Now they're saying that he might miss the opener, which sucks. Yeah, I know the guy in my league, my buddy that drafted him, was looking at his phone like, yeah, that sucks, bro. But he'll be alright. Shit, you trade him to me, I'll take him off your hands for you, bro. I would take Odell Beckham in a heartbeat. He's right there after Antonio Brown. So go after a guy like that. You know, you got Mike Evans, who's a target monster. AJ Green. People are sleeping on Jordy Nelson, but damn, like he gets touchdowns. Like he's a beast when it comes to touchdowns. So yeah, like I say, if you can't get one of those 2 guys, Bell or Johnson, go after a really solid receiver, because maybe in the 2nd round you can still get you a really, really good running back. But my suggestion is stagger them. So if you pick a running back with your number 1 pick, you want to go after a really good receiver, because, man, those position groups, they aren't as abundant as like a quarterback. So, like I was able to draft Le'Veon Bell with my number 2 overall pick in the 1st round. In the next round, I went and grabbed Doug Baldwin, because, you know, like I say, you want to stagger your picks. So you don't want to be too heavy in one position group. You don't want to have like really, really good running backs and have shitty receivers, or vice versa, like really, really good receivers and no running backs. You know what I'm saying? I personally, I love bell cow backs. I think like that's obvious. You want a guy that's going to be ball dominant, a ball hog in the backfield, that's going to get all the red zone looks, that's going to get all the passes out of the backfield. So you want to go after somebody that's multi-versatile like that. A 3-down back, bell cow back, whatever you want to call them, man, but somebody that can catch. And it's important to have somebody that can block, because look, you want somebody that's going to be able to stay on the field in all situations. That was one of the knocks on Adrian Peterson. As great as he is, like his whole career, he really wasn't a good blocker. So on 3rd downs, he would have to come out of the game. So look, obviously Le'Veon Bell has that full package, but somebody that they're saying is reminiscent of him, or could be a really good player here in the future is the rookie Dalvin Cook, who I went with as my RB2. And I took Dalvin Cook in the 5th round. I was able to snag him. Now my strategy for that was, I was like, man, if I end up with Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon, I'll be good with that. I think both of them are going to be really good. In that same tier, I would have took Christian McCaffrey as well if he would have been there in the 5th round. But Dalvin Cook was absolutely my first choice for the 5th round out of those rookies, out of those rookie running backs, because I think they're going to get a lot of looks. Go ahead and jump into wide receivers. Now, as I said, I took Doug Baldwin. At that point, I don't remember what other receivers were there, but I'm high on Doug Baldwin this year. I think Doug Baldwin is going to have a really good year. He's going to have a Antonio Brown-esque type season, I believe. I really think so. It's not going to be like straight up Antonio Brown type numbers, but I think he's going to be a target monster this year. You got Russell Wilson, who's healthy this year. He was a little banged up last year, but man, when they own, they are on. When they had a connection going, so they had this preseason game the other night, and Doug Baldwin was getting the ball far and frequent. He was doing his thing. He looked really good, so I expect that to continue into the regular season, and for Doug Baldwin to be something special. My wide receiver 2, I want Terrell Pryor. Man, I've heard nothing but great things about T. Pryor in training camp with Washington this year. So, you know, he's going to be their #1 receiver. Now you got Jamison Crowder, who's over there, who's been with the team. He wasn't their #1 receiver last year. It was Garcon, I believe. But, man, Terrell Pryor, he's really surprised me making that transition from quarterback to receiver. And like I said, I just have heard nothing but good things about him. So when I saw that he was still available, and I went after him. And so I think that really completes a good stable for me of those position groups. I think I got really 2 really good running backs, ball dominant backs that can do it all, bell cow backs, and I think I got 2 target monsters in my receivers, which I think will bode well for me because this is a PPR league that I play in. So go down to my tight end. Now, my tight end, I was kind of disappointed with this. I absolutely was targeting Jack Doyle, but I wanted him as like my backup tight end, and I wanted somebody above him. I was actually targeting Delaney Walker, and I wanted to snag Jack Doyle later on in the rounds, like maybe in the 8th or 9th round, because for whatever reason, people are sleeping on Jack Doyle as well. So don't get it twisted. I'm not disappointed that he's my starting tight end because I think he's going to have a killer year. Dwayne Allen is gone. Like, he's the starting tight end, and that's a team that likes throwing to the tight end. Andrew Luck has always had a good rapport with his tight ends. Kobe Fleener's not there no more. So Jack Doyle had a really good season last year. I expect that to continue. So I'm happy with my tight end. I think when I drafted, and I should have gone after a tight end, I think it was in the 6th round, I saw that Emmanuel Sanders was still available. So I went ahead and went after Sanders. So in hindsight, if I could have went back, I would have gotten Delaney Walker. Still tried to have drafted Jack Doyle later on in the rounds, but like I say, I'm completely happy with him. I think he's going to be great. Look, that's the one thing I would give y'all advice on. All the mock drafts and stuff that I did, if somebody would draft a tight end, like, it'll be whatever people were still going with their picks. Like I say, they kind of follow the board. But in like a real life draft, I noticed that if somebody picks a position group that like a tight end, or on here you'll see I'll get into my defense that I had to end up picking. Man, once somebody goes there, even the kickers, there's just a run on that certain position. So people start panicking like, oh shit, we drafting tight ends now, or damn, okay, we already drafting defenses now, and they'll just start going in, getting those teams or whatever, getting those position groups. So man, it just happened to work out that way that I kind of slept on. Like I say, I went after filling my bench instead of filling all of my starting position groups, and other people started doing that, and it kind of left me stuck out with having Doyle as my starting tight end. And as you can see, I got the Chargers defense as my starting defense, where you know, I could have ended up with somebody at least like the Patriots defense if I would have went ahead and jumped on the defenses when everybody started having those runs on the defense. But I'm hoping Joey Bosa continues to play like he's played. And I don't know, there's still some pretty good defenses out there on the waiver, so I may be able to grab something like that. I know I kind of skipped ahead, but now we're going to look at my flex guy that I got. Now, I was very happy with this pick, especially at the flex position, Ty Montgomery. Oh, man, I love it. Like, this is a guy who was a wide receiver. Now he's in the backfield with the best quarterback in the league right now. I think he's going to get the ball often, especially coming out of the backfield. Like if a play breaks down or something, that check down, Ty Montgomery's there with the sure hands, who has a burst of speed. I love it. I think he's going to get some red zone looks. He'll get the ball out of the backfield just like a traditional back. Now, I know the knock on him is people saying that there's a really large backfield. Like, people are going to be competing for touches. The Packers kind of went heavy in the draft and drafting running backs. I'm not too worried about it. This is a guy who's established himself as a legitimate running back. He's the veteran there. I think he's going to be fine, especially, like I say, as a flex guy. So if you can snag Ty Montgomery as your flex, I think you've done a really good job, especially like in my situation. Like I say, I got Le'Veon Bell and Dalvin Cook and Ty Montgomery as my flex. In the PPR league, I think I'm going to kill it with that. So hopefully, man, hopefully that'll happen. We'll briefly just go through the bench. Like I say, man, I got Emmanuel Sanders. He was out there. I felt like I couldn't pass up on him. You know, that's great reserve for me for when one of my guys got a bye week. And hell, he might emerge himself as the starter. So we'll see how that goes. And if anything, he'll be trade bait. I mean, shit, maybe I can trade with somebody, go after one of those tight ends that I was talking about that I really wanted, or defense that I should have had. Tyrell Williams, man, the boy Mike Williams over there that came out of Clemson with Deshaun Watson, that beast receiver that they got in the first round, got hurt. So I expect Tyrell Williams to pick up those targets that he's had. Keenan Allen has always been injury prone, so I think Williams will pick up the slack if he does, unfortunately, go down again with an injury. Kareem Hunt out of Kansas City is supposed to take over the backfield. Spencer Ware, I don't think he's going to hang on to that job. So I was able to get Kareem Hunt like late in rounds. I think it was a solid pick for where I drafted him at. I didn't go after him early at all. I want to say like in the 10th round or something crazy. Dante Moncrief, he was supposed to emerge as like the #1 receiver. Obviously, T.Y. Hilton is that guy still. I think he led the league in receiving yards as a receiver last year. So, you know, I'm not on that train as Moncrief being the #1 receiver over there in Indy, but he's still a very good option. He dealt with some injuries last year, so if he can stay healthy, it's a damn good pick. It's a nigga just sitting on my bench, so I think it'll be. I got James White on my bench. James White, like, he had a major role to play in winning that Super Bowl for the Patriots. The only problem with him is, though, he's not the #1 back. He's not one of those bell cow backs that I mentioned that I was talking about, like a Le'Veon Bell, Dalvin Cook, these type players. Dalvin Cook may not even be that guy, but I'm just saying, James White, with the Patriots, I suggest not drafting any Patriots skill position players besides, obviously, Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to get his numbers, but Tom Brady's so smart, you don't know who the fuck is going to go off in the game and who's going to get the ball. It's just game plan, you know. If he sees that, okay, they locking up Edelman, he's not going to go to Edelman, he'll go to Hogan. You know, if you see that, you know, last year with LeGarrette Blount, okay, we can't just pound it. Get James White involved, get him matched up against a linebacker, you know. He's just a smart quarterback, it's a smart team, it's a game plan team, so you don't know exactly who is going to go off on the team. So just stay away from Patriots. But I drafted James White, maybe my next to last pick overall in the draft. He was still out there, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. If I can get him this late, then I'll pick him up. Briefly, Corey Davis. I think they drafted him #7 overall with the Titans. Titans, I think, are going to have a really good offense this year, so we'll see how that works out. And Thomas Ross was still out there. He was my very last pick, like I said. I think he's going to be the starter for Seattle. Everybody is picking Eddie Lacy like in the third or fourth round, which is insane. Like, he hasn't done anything to deserve that starting job. Thomas Rawls is still a very, very good and capable back. Hell, my very last pick being the starting running back for Seattle, who's a really good offense. Yeah, I think I got a steal. So I absolutely think he's going to take over that starting running back position. So, look, man, let's talk about strategy. Like I say, if you can get one of those stud backs with your number one pick, you know, in the first round, get you that guy. Get you Le'Veon. Get you David Johnson. If you can't get him, get you a receiver, really good receiver in that second round. Whichever one you didn't get, either running back or receiver, get you that in the second round. The third and fourth rounds, I suggest you do the same. At the end of the fourth round, you want to have 2 good running backs, 2 good wide receivers. I know it may not always work out like that. If there's a really, really good tight end there in the fourth round, man, go after him. If Travis Kelce is there in the fourth round, get Travis Kelce. Man, who the hell do they have on the Kansas City Chiefs that's going to do anything offensively for that team? Travis Kelce, I think, is going to be a target monster. I had him on my team last season. I think he's going to have an even better season than he had last year. So, look, you're probably thinking, why take advice from me? I played 2 fantasy leagues last season, won 2 fantasy league championships last season. So, I think I kind of know what I'm talking about here. So, 5th round, that's when I would suggest going after your quarterback. If somebody like Drew Brees is still available, go after Drew Brees. If he's not there, you know, him or somebody like that. But if he's not there, like I say, I was able to get Dalvin Cook in the 5th round. So if he's there, man, snag him. Joe Mixon, snag him. Christian McCaffrey, man, get him. He's a target monster. Somebody that's people are sleeping on. Larry Fitzgerald. Yeah, he's old. Yeah, he got the dress. He looks like Predator, but he's still a really, really good wide receiver. He switched into the slot position. He's been playing there for a few years. He's excelled at it. He's great. Like, in a PPR league, excellent. Like, get him. Please get him. The 6th round, man, go after. Who I was going after was Delanie Walker. If you can't get Delanie Walker, look out for Brandon Marshall, who I think is going to be excellent for the New York Giants. Obviously, they got the little monster over there, you know, little dancing fiend, Odell Beckham Jr. Hey, they're going to be doubling OBJ. This is a no-brainer. Like, Brandon Marshall has been a number 1 receiver his entire career. He's going somewhere where they have, obviously, a better and more legit number 1 receiver in Odell Beckham. He's going to get single coverage, something that he's probably never seen in his career. He's going to excel in a PPR format. Go after Brandon Marshall if you can get him in the 6th round. 7th round, it can get a little tricky here. So, look, like I say, my 7th round, if you haven't gotten a quarterback yet by the 7th round, maybe here's where you might want to target one. There still probably may be some really good guys available. Your Russell Wilsons, your Cam Newtons, Andrew Lucks, Kirk Cousins, people like that may still be available in the 7th round, so you want to go after them. A tight end that may still be there that you may want to go after is Martellus Bennett. I think he's going to have a good season with, like I say, the best quarterback in the league. I think he'll start getting him the ball, and Aaron Rodgers really hasn't used the tight end like that over the past few years. Like, since Jermichael Finley has been there, he didn't use Jared Cook like that until the playoffs, but I think with Bennett being there, I think he'll get him the ball. So that's the tight end that you may want to target. Like I say, this is the 7th round, so that's a damn good pick in the 7th round. In the 8th round, somebody that's people are sleeping on is Deshaun Jackson. I mean, it's just like what I was saying with the Giants. You got Mike Evans, who's a beast. Deshaun Jackson is still really, really good. So he'll get single coverage. He's a burner. He'll get down the field. Jameis Winston get him the ball. So I think he's a really good pickup if you can get him, especially in the late round like that, 7th, 8th round. That's excellent. LeGarrette Blount may still be available in the 8th round. Snag him, get him. Who else do they got over there in the backfield for Philadelphia? So go after LeGarrette Blount. Get him. In the ninth round, man, it's not really a lot of guys that I would suggest. So if you don't see somebody on there that you're just in love with, I would say go ahead and get a defense. Get you a really good defense. I would say the Chiefs defense, I think they're going to be really good. Or you can go with Old Faithful, the Broncos defense, who I think, they'll still be good. So go ahead and snag your defense. And from there, I mean, man, it's just kind of a toss up. At that point, I wouldn't say auto draft, but it's just kind of a crapshoot at that point in the draft. But as long as you got your really good core and kind of listen to the things that I was saying previously in those rounds, I think you'll be really good. Don't go after your quarterback too early, man. You still got some good options. Somebody else, Terrence West. If Terrence West is still available in those later rounds, get Terrence West. I mean, the boy Dixon got hurt, so he's not going to be there. Danny Woodhead is a really good option, especially in PPR formats, but Terrence West is going to be the guy on the goal line pounding it in. So if he's there in those later rounds, 9th, 10th round, hey, go after Terrence West. I don't even think he's a sleeper at this point. I think it's a no-brainer. If you can get him that late, get him. Man, somebody else that I kind of like going after late rounds is Cole Beasley. I don't know why. Like in some formats, he's not even going drafted. I think it's crazy. So grab your Cole Beasley if you can, in the later rounds. So y'all look out for him. It's a lot of people that I could probably name, but I think y'all got a good strategy. Like I said, if y'all kind of follow these tips. So look, man, I love y'all. Good luck to everybody out there playing fantasy. And y'all, if y'all not scared next season, man, y'all hit me up. Maybe you could be a part, challenge me, see if you can win. Yeah, I'm talking shit, but come at me though. Have your money ready. See y'all later. Peace.